up from Kembla Grange, and she'll be rattling home. John Tapp has got his eye on all these horses. I think he's ready to call the running of the Fernhill Handicap. Here he is.
Good on you, Ken. Fernhill, named after a very famous property. Fernhill is located on the first land grant issued in the Mulgoa Valley by Governor Macquarie in 1810, and the original Fernhill homestead was built in 1838 from sandstone actually quarried off the property. So Fernhill, as old as Australia itself. Now waiting for Nightclub to move up ahead of Cattle and Opening. There's a riderless one there now. Cheeky Pete's rider is out of the saddle. So Nightclub to move up with her stablemate Recalcitrance, and also Cattle and Opening. Cattle and Opening is raced by one of Bart Cummings' most prolific clients, the Dato Tan Chin Nam from Malaysia. And that combination have a very good chance in the last race today, the Chairman's Handicap, with Super Monarch, who will probably start favourite. Now Cattle and Opening goes up into line for Larry Cassidy, and they look to be about set and ready for dispatch in the Hickman's Fernhill Handicap.
All in, Jim.
1600. They face squarely. Starter onto his stand, and they're about set. They steady. They're off and running in the Fernhill. A pretty good start too, and Vigil towards the outside is about the first out, headed by Cheeky Pete. Army Reb began well, and one of the leaders, Wild Violet. Right up there with them is Zoff Coast in the early stages, followed by Credits, and Cattle and Opening is now being allowed to stride across from a wide gate. In that bunch is Super Slew. Central Express can't get on the track in the early part, followed by Fun Day. Then Dance Misty for Me, Show Ski, Nightclub as well back with Recalcitrance and Classy Fella, and last is Diamond Cluster. Very tightly bunched in the run to the first turn. Cheeky Pete took over to lead narrowly over Vigil and Three Deep Cattle and Opening, and he won't get in any closer than that. On the fence, Off Coast on the inside of Credits, followed by Army Reb, Three Deep Nightclub. On the fence, Dance Misty for Me. Super Slew between horses, followed closely by Central Express, and then Show Ski. Further back is Classy Fella. Back with it is Wild Violet as they go over that 700-metre mark. At the head of the others, Recalcitrance, followed by Fun Day and Diamond Cluster. 600 out, nearing the turn. Cheeky Pete just the leader over Vigil. Cattle and Opening is a length away. Zoff Coast on the fence, followed by Credits under some pressure. Then Dance Misty for Me. Out off the track is Nightclub as they turn for home. At the head of the others, Army Reb, and then Super Slew, followed by Classy Fella. Past the 400 mark, coming over the rise, and Vigil quickly raced up to join Cheeky Pete. They're clear of Dance Misty for Me, who's closing fast. Cattle and Opening is struggling. Then Zoff Coast, and Classy Fella to the extreme outside is running on strongly. Dance Misty for Me tackled by Classy Fella. They're well clear of Vigil. Dance Misty for Me and Classy Fella, with Classy Fella getting the upper hand and is starting to draw right away in the last bit. It's all Classy Fella, and Classy Fella comes away to win the Fernhill over Dance Misty for Me. Super Slew is a plodding third, followed by Recalcitrance, Diamond Cluster, then Show Ski. Nightclub covered too much extra ground. Further back came Vigil. At the head of the others, Central Express, Fun Day, Cattle and Opening, and then Credits, Wild Violet, Cheeky Pete, Zoff Coast, and Army Reb is last in the Fernhill. A very good win to Classy Fella, ridden by a classy girl, Lisa Kropp. An outstanding ride for the John Murray stable on Classy Fella, which is going to pay better than $68 for the win. $68.70 and $13 the place. Second, Dance Misty for Me. Number 3 pays a place dividend of $4.50, and Super Slew will get third, paying a place dividend of $1.90. And Ken, there are punters laying flat on their backs with their feet sticking up in the air at Randwick.
Yes, I don't think too many were on him, John. Classy Fella, but he was too classy today, and as we see them hit the line there, he's just finished in front of Dance Misty for Me, close for third between Super Slew and Recalcitrance. There, as we pick them back up, Classy Fella has just got the better of Dance Misty for Me. Dance Misty for Me shot clear, but once Lisa Kropp eased the other colt across their heels, he got out into the firmer ground and he just zoomed down the outside, and he's won by over a length. No doubt about the winner, TAB number 17. 3 was second, Dance Misty for Me, and number 8, Super Slew, is officially third with Recalcitrance fourth. There in the head-on, Dance Misty for Me is the grey filly with the pink sleeves and the blue cap, and way out in the yellow is the winner. Yellow with a black cap is the winner, Classy Fella, ridden by Lisa Kropp. Andrew Voss, I think you're standing by there in the winner's circle.
John Morris, congratulations. Obviously looking for a bit of ground. First win from 5 starts.
Yes, he ran the first couple of starts for me. Sort of showed promise without doing anything exciting, and The last start was a bit disappointed, but the jockey thought I had a lugging bit on it that didn't suit the horse, and possibly it was wide all the way. And I had another horse run that day that ran badly and finished work, you know, back where it did. So hopefully it's improved.
What about a wrap for Lisa Croft?
And well ridden. She gave it on the fence and got off the fence up the straight and gave it a bit of room out in the bit of the part of the track.
John, well done.
All right, thank you.
Right, that was the story of the Fernhill Handicap. I think you'll hear more of Classy Fella, and you'll probably hear a lot more during the day of Lisa Croft. She's got a good book of rides. Okay, a break coming up, and then more action on the wide world of sports.
Terrific win there by the jockey Lisa Croft. What a good rider she is. Tappy's a big rap on her, and of course just a terrific ride there to win the second here at Randwick. On Doncaster Derby Day, the weather is starting to clean up a little bit, thank goodness. And there is the dividends. Classy Fella, $68.70 and $13. Dance Misty for me paid $4.50. Super Slew, $1.90. Now, let's take a look at the Quinella, $702 at the trifecta. $10,604.20. I think we'll retire, Max.
Yes, a couple of classy fellas, eh? No doubt about it. A nice little trifecta there. And of course, at any race meeting, be it in the city or in the bush, an enormous amount of work goes on behind the scenes. It's not just a case of horses, trainers and jockeys. There are many more people involved in getting a race meeting up and running. Andrew Voss has taken time out to review that race day staff that the stay-at-home punter and even the on-course patron may never ever see.
Let's start out at the barrier. The attendants are highly skilled horsemen who are there to calm the horse both in and out of the gate. They have the respect of the jockeys who put their trust in the attendants in the vital moments leading up to a race start. Billy Dale is the official starter who gets the field off and running.
Keeping the horse calm, making sure that, for me, that they're in a line and happy, you know, and you know, if they're quiet, I do a good job.
When are you satisfied that they're ready to jump?
When it's quiet. You might hear a lot of singing out. Jockeys are not ready. When you hear silence, you know that they're all right.
From the barrier to high above the course, these are the official judges. So much depends on them, particularly in a tight finish. The head judge will run through the placings. Each is checked and checked again.
3 kick-off dancers first.
They have access within seconds to a photo of the finish. In the case of a dead heat, it's the head judge who makes the call.
We confer between the judges, and if we agree, we'll dead heat them. If we've got a split decision, well, yes, I'll be the one that makes the decision.
Now, what's going to win this next race?
You coming in? Can I say it to you?
Ticket I don't have.
You don't have, right?
Mate, I can see why they don't like you. And then, of course, there's the greencoats, although their jackets have gone up market over the years. These lovable officials are scattered around the course, each with his own assignment, each with his own territory. Do you think officials and greencoats, if you like, have a bad reputation?
No, not at all. No, that's just their job. They're doing their job, and people understand that.
You like your work at the races?
Yeah, yes, particularly in the horse show. With the thoroughbreds here, we love them.
Couldn't think of a better place to work, could you?
This is where the action is, the nerve centre of the course.
What about the hat?
Good, yeah, all good uniforms, good, perfect.
In the stables, the farriers are always busy. You may think what they do would hurt the horse, but that's not the case. In fact, it's best for the horse to be shod. How many horses would you shoot per meeting?
About 10, 15.
Are you basically on call for not just on race day, but for trainers around the place?
I just do Denhams and Camptons, Guy, Hoods, a few others.
Could you see yourself doing anything else in racing?
No, I don't think I'll make a jockey.
Another place where it's all go is the teleprinter room. From a punting point of view, this is the nerve centre of the racecourse.
13-2. Number 5, Rainy Day Feeling, 6-1.
With so many interstate meetings, these ladies have the job of keeping the on-course punter and bookmaker up to date.
The prices actually come directly from Melbourne through a printer over there, which is connected to these machines here, and then as soon as I call them, I press a button and they go straight out to the bidding ring.
So it keeps the punters happy?
It certainly does. Keeps me busy.
And yes, on the bottom left screen, it's Days of Our Lives. Out in the ring, the betting supervisor is a central figure. You're the betting supervisor, right?
That's correct.
What do I do with all these losing tickets?
I'm afraid if they're losing tickets, we can't help you.
But can't you supervise my betting?
No, I'm afraid we can't.
You have to handle more than just putters' disputes over tickets, don't you?
That's correct. We look after the supervision of betting on the race course. We supervise the bookmakers. We assist punters with their lost tickets, and we try to assist with any disputes that they may become involved in.
And it's not always easy to please the punter, but at least at the end of another losing day, with what few coins you have left, at the racecourse, it can still buy you dinner.
Bravo. Very good.
I love a man who can talk under 15 feet of molasses, and Andrew Voss just proved that. A health food fanatic. Andrew Voss and the unheralded folk of the racing business. If you haven't landed a winner at Randwick, then bend an ear to the wisdom of Kenny Callender. He might just have a special for us in race 3, because last one wasn't that good, Ken.
We're coming good now, Kenny. We should have waked, he wouldn't handle the going. We've gone the wrong way. The track's got us a little bit confused, but we'll come good. Here are the prices on the third race, the Carbine Club Stakes. Perfect Harmony at $41. Super Shaquille, trained by Johnny Marr, who's won this race the last 2 years, is showing at $11. Chelsworth, another Melbourne horse, at $10. Just a Print at $26. Marja High, $31. Duke Steel, $8.50. Centre Isle is a scratching. Lady Bay, $67. And Mr. Axeman at $10. Stay tuned, $51. Here's the Prince, $370 into $360. I'm putting my cash on him. I know it's short odds. He's won 5 out of 6. He's a pretty smart horse. Glide Away, $9. Crows Before Dawn, $9.50. 34 Odessa, $9.50 Juggler. Croatian Success is out. Carla Chief, $51. Run the Best, $67. And Deep Snip, $101. I say here's the Prince. What do you think, Simon?
Well, I'm going for Super Shaquille, and that's not a joke again, I can tell you that, Kenny. But look, I'm Melbourne biased again here. I think Johnny Marr, what you said before, Johnny Marr winning it the last 2 years is very important in this race. I think he'll have Super Shaquille absolutely primed for it, and I can't see it getting beaten.
He does like the wet track too. Simon, I know you're not pulling my leg by saying Super Slew and Super Shaquille in successive races, but here's a man that would pull my leg, Fatty Vaught.
Super Shaquille, yeah. That's what I'm tipping, actually, Kenny and Simon. I like it. Brian York's a great rider. He comes from Brisbane, former Kiwi. I think he'll ride this horse very well just off the pace and come zooming down the outside on the end. Pete, what about you?
Well, let's put plenty of weight on that one. I'm going number 3, Chelsworth, Johnny Marr. Paddy Payne on top. It's drawn a little bit wide, drawn 13, but it's had 2 runs back from a spell, and I think the mile will suit it. I'm surprised they let you park your car in the middle of the course, Paul.
Yeah, you know what it's like, Pete.
I wish I did.
You drive one, don't you? What are you talking about, you gibberer?
Well,
back to you, Maxie.
Yeah, nice motor car, the old 740 IL there. I would have thought you guys, seeing the tractors on the worst side of dead, would have taken something like Deep Snip, because you have in the last couple of races.
Might be snipping you later, Max.
You've got plenty, Max.
Hey, I'll be looking forward to it, boys. Now, if you don't trust the judgment of our celebrity tipsters, and they probably are looking for a loan, then do yourself a real big favour and enter our BMW Memorable Moments giveaway.
Okay, there's a very happy trainer, John Morrish, with his horse Classy Fella, after winning the Fernhill Handicap. And John, of course, won this race a couple of years ago with his good galloper March Hare, who's since gone on to become one of Sydney's best horses. Classy Fella, who knows what his future is. I think he'll certainly win more races. Okay, the Carbine Club Stakes is race 3. Number 1, Perfect Harmony, who won the Carbine Club Stakes in Melbourne, is showing now at $31. Super Shaquille and Chelsworth, both trained by John Marr, are showing at $11 and $10. Just a Printer at $26. Marja High at $31. Number 6, Duke Steel likes the wet, $8.50. Centre Isle is out, $61. Lady Bay, $11. And Mr. Axeman. Stay tuned at $51. The Canberra Star. Here's the Prince, just getting out of touch to $3.80. Glide Away, $9.50. Number 13, Crows Before Dawn at $10. $34 Odessa. $9.50 Juggler. Croatian Success is out. $51 Carla Chief. $67 Run the Best. And $101 Deep Snip. They're the prices on race 3, and here's Max and Ken.
Good on you, thank you, Ken. If you've never entered our Memorable Moments giveaway,
Okay, there are the horses parading for the Carbine Club Stakes, race 3, which is due in a little over 12 minutes. Pretty good lot of 3-year-olds too. most of them suited by the 1600 metre journey. Number 1, Perfect Harmony, still paying at $31. Number 2, Super Shaquille from the John Marr stable, into $10. His stablemate Chillsworth, very promising horse, into $9.50. Number 4, Just a Printer, from $26 to almost $21. Number 5, Marja High, still at $31. Number 6, Duke's Deal, paying $8.50. Centre Isle is a scratching. Lady Bay into $51. Mr. Axman at $11. Number 10, Stay Tuned, at $50. Here's the Prince, still favourite on the tote, $3.90 now, almost out to 3 to 1. I've got my cash on him. Glide Away TAB number 12 is almost out to $10. Crows Before Dawn number 13, also at $10. $34 for Odessa. Juggler TAB number 15 is out to $10. Croatian Success is a scratching. $50 for Carla Chief, $67 for Run the Best, and Deep Snip at $100. Okay, boys, that's the prices on race 3. Back to Kenny and Max.
Thank you very much, Ken. That race coming up in a few moments' time. Now, you have to be very lightly framed to earn yourself a ride on a thoroughbred racehorse, which means it's been a very long time since anyone in the jockey's room answered to the name of Fatty. See if you can spot which one isn't the race rider, as Paul Vorton takes us on a tour of the jockey's inner sanctum.
Well, this is where it all happens. This is the jockey's room, all the boys in there doing their best. Let's see if we can get a tip. Good luck. Chris Muntz, mighty Queenslander. Hey, Chrissy, how you doing?
All right, yourself?
Going well. What about Brave Warrior in the Doncaster? Chance?
Mate, with all the wages you earn, just put it on him. Special.
$1.50 each way, that's what I earn. And Glenn Boss, of course, he's on fire at the moment. Glenn, what about the mighty Broncos? Can they win on Monday?
Certainly can. They won't get beat. No doubt.
You got a tip for me?
Today?
Yeah.
You got to be very careful when you use those words, float them words around here. No, I think I've got a couple of nice rides. I think the mare in the last Bell Marissa, she's got a very good each-way chance.
Thank you, Glenn. Well done. Well, there we go. We get tips easy. It's easy to get a tip. What about Darren Beedman?
Yeah, mate.
Darren, how you doing?
Good, Fatty. Good, mate.
What about your ride in the Doncaster?
Yeah, Origin, she's got a good chance, you know, 3-year-old. Hopefully there's a bit of speed on. She'll get home quite good.
Well, 3-year-olds have a good record in the race, haven't they?
They have, yes. And, you know, she's 1.5 kilos underweight for age. And, you know, there's always the horse that has the trouble-free run that wins it.
Glad to be back in Australia.
Oh, mate, land of living here.
Thanks, Darren. Jamie Innes. Jamie, you've been riding quite well lately. Jamie, what's happening?
Oh, a couple of decent rides helps, makes it a little bit easier. Couple of chances today. Bit of luck goes me way.
You're on the Arnie Mary in the Doncaster?
That's right, Arnie Mary, she's a chance. You know, same old story, you get a bit of luck in the run, you're in the hunt.
Of course, you rode her last start when she won in Melbourne. I thought you were an absolute genius, the best rider since George Moore, because I backed it. That is good winning when I'm on a horse.
Yeah, well, it's the same old story. You're a genius when you win, aren't you?
We'll just keep going through here. See, there's the scales. This is what they hop on, of course, called scales. Most of them weigh between, 52 and 55 kilos. I might just jump on here. How am I going? Oh, turn it up. That'll do me. No, they're wrong. They got to be wrong. Got the good television. Got a Melbourne visitor here, Damien Oliver. G'day, Damien. How you doing? What about your ride in the Doncaster?
Yeah, I think she's got a great chance. A little bit unknown in the soft ground, but Paul O'Sullivan told me she handles it up to slow, but just riding in the first race, it's pretty close to slow, I think.
That is, of course, the horse called Snap. Have you ridden her in work this week?
No, I haven't. She only arrived from New Zealand on Tuesday, but she's been brought back specifically for this race, so, you know, I'm very keen on her chances.
All right. Thanks, Damien. Best of luck in the race. The jockeys get all the good tucker. Look at this. I mean, they're lightweights, but they just eat anything they want. I reckon this will be untouched for most of the day. The ham and the... Not bad. It's not bad, Aaron.
Hey, Fatty, in unknown territory there, doing it well. The Hoop's giving him quite a few one-liners and plenty of tips as well. OK, Kingston Town, Bone Crusher and Bozam, they're just some of the champions to have won the AJC Derby. Whose name will go on the trophy this afternoon? Well, you'll see it happen live right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Tonight.
Yeah, back at Randwick, and there's number 1, Perfect Harmony. Top weight, as I said, on Derby Day in Victoria last October. He won the Carbine Club Stakes in Victoria. Now he's out to win the New South Wales version. Let's have another quick run down the tote board. Perfect Harmony to $34 now. Number 2, Super Shaquille, I'll get that right, into almost $9. And his stablemate Chelsworth to about $8.50. So they've both been pretty well backed in the ring. Number 4, Just a Printer at $21, out to $26. Number 5, Marja High, still showing $31. Number 6, Duke Steel at $8.50, almost out to $9 now. Centre Isle is out, $51 Lady Bay, $11 our Mr. Axman, $51 Stay Tuned, still $3.90 the favourite. Here's the Prince. Glide Away at $10. Crows Before Dawn out to $11 now. TAB number 13, $34 for Odessa. Juggler at $10. A Scratching, $51 Carla Cheap, $67 for Run the Best, and Deep Snip just over $100. Okay, they're over behind the barrier. The Melbourne horses, you're still happy with being on Super Shaquille, Simon?
Yeah, still happy being on Super Shaquille, Ken, but I must admit, in the yard, I really thought Stay Tuned looked exceptionally well. Now, I know he's dropped out of form a hell of a lot over the last 6 or 7 months, but I wouldn't put it past him running a pretty good race. He looked an absolute treat in the yard.
Yeah, that's the favourite. Here's the Prince there. He lost a plate in the parade, and you can see the farrier there working on the plate. Here, boys will bring here's the Prince over now, and we'll see the farrier go to work. Takes a pretty strong man to be a good farrier, Simon.
Oh, there's got to be a fair bit of courage there too, I think, Ken, especially at this stage of a race. That horse will be pretty hotted up and all pumped up, ready to go around there and run a pretty formidable race. And there's the farrier lifting up a leg, and 500 kilos a horse standing over the top of you and you underneath his legs. I wouldn't be too keen myself.
I think you'd be all right, mate. Johnny Tapp's a man who's always admired the work of these behind-the-scenes staff, haven't you, John?
Ken, in particular the farrier. I think he's one of the most underrated professionals behind the scenes in racing. Not only are they excellent craftsmen, of course, they've got to be strong, fit men. I don't think I've ever met a farrier who hasn't got a bad back, and it's not hard to see why. They do a terrific job because of all the old racing adages that make any sense to me, the most poignant is the one that says no feet, no horse. And how true it is. These blokes do a mighty job. I've got great admiration for them. How'd you like to be facing up to shoeing 10 or 12 or 15 horses on a hot summer's morning after a night out? Yeah, great craftsman. Now, the rider of Here's the Prince, Matthew Carl, standing down on the ground waiting for this horse to be reshod, and the others start to move in. Now, Odessa has come up into line ahead of Juggler. Juggler is sweating up very noticeably. In fact, you'd have to say he might have run his race before he even jumps out of the gate, Juggler. He is in an absolute muck lather. He's got himself worked right up. And every now and again they'll still win, but gee, it's got to take something out of them. Now, his Deep Snip approaching the stalls. Matthew Carl about to get back onto Here's the Prince. Super Shaquille is being led up towards the gates ahead of Crows Before Dawn. Duke's Deal is now moving forward. Lady Bay's in the reverse direction. Glide Away getting a lead up. Our Mr. Axman is some distance back, and right down towards the rear of the chute are Carla Chief, Just a Printer, and also Marja High. Just a Printer, trained by Robert Johnson at Hawkesbury, has recently suffered, talking about horses' feet, an insidious malady known as seedy toe. And the only way to fix seedy toe, which is an infection between the outer wall and the inner wall of the foot, is to cut away part of the outer wall and drain the infection, and then you've got to wait for that foot to grow again. There are products on the market with which the hole can be plugged, into which farriers can at least get a nail, and Just a Printer is using that product called Equilox, and he's able to race as a result of it. Now, here's the Prince, which that's the horse that was reshod. By the way, grabbing hold of the horse's ears, for you people at home who think that might look a little over the top, please don't think that, because it has a calming effect, believe it or not. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book. If you want a horse to relax and stand still, just grab his ear. They're not putting any pressure on the ears at all, just a gentle squeeze, and as you can see, it's keeping him still. Now, Lady Bay, also sweating up, is moving forward towards the gates. Just a Printer's rider out of the saddle, and Matthew Carl still not back on board Here's the Prince. They're making a last-minute girth or surcingle adjustment to Here's the Prince. Now the others have moved in. Stay Tuned faces up well. So does Run the Best and Deep Snip. Oh, one of these horses has been able to break clear of his attendant, Just a Printer. He got away from them momentarily, just went back to the corner of the chute and couldn't go any further, and they were able to grab him again. Thank goodness for that, or he might have been out on Allison Road and halfway to Coogee. He could have well been sitting up on a bar stool at the Coogee Bay, given another 10 or 15 minutes. But they've got him. He's a bit headstrong, this horse, Just a Printer. This is the horse I was telling you about who's had the foot problem. Now, Just a Printer is about to be placed away, and that leaves Lady Bay. I think that's the only one to move in. Here's the Prince, has come up towards the middle of the line, drawn about barrier 10. Odessa stands in with our Mr. Axman. Chelsworth, ridden by Patrick Payne, a brilliant young jockey from Victoria. Rider of the Doncaster winner, I think 3 years ago, Soho Square.
All in, Bill.
And he was 17 years old then, Patrick Payne, not Soho Square. Now the starter onto his stand as the last couple move into the gates, and they're all set and ready for dispatch. In the Carbine Club Stakes, they look good, and they're off. Good start, and a little slow, Deep Snip and Run the Best, and one of the first out, Perfect Harmony. Carla Chief began well, so did Odessa, followed by Chelsworth, Juggler. Here's the Prince scooting through into a handy spot. Just a Printer wide out is going forward. Glideaway's midfield on settling down, followed by Lady Bay. On the fence, improving quickly, Run the Best, and then Super Shaquille and Marja High, followed by Crows Before Dawn. Further back is Duke's Deal in the run to the first turn. A gap then to Deep Snip, followed by Stay Tuned, and now Mr. Axman last of all. Around the first corner, Just a Printer crossed and went to the lead by more than a length to Lady Bay. Perfect Harmony third on the inside of Here's the Prince. Marja High 3 deep around the outside of Super Shaquille, Odessa. Carla Chief between horses, followed by Juggler. Chelsworth is travelling 3 and 4 deep, and then Run the Best, followed by Crows Before Dawn. Well back, Duke's Deal at the head of the others. Deep Snip, followed by Glide Away and Stay Tuned, and now Mr. Axman last of all. 700 out as they near the turn. Just a Printer the leader over Lady Bay. Super Shaquille on the outside, 2 lengths away. Here's the Prince, who's had a pretty good run, followed by Perfect Harmony, Juggler. Marja High's off the track, coming to the turn. A gap to Odessa, and then Carla Chief, Chelsworth, Crows Before Dawn between horses, followed by Run the Best, and then Stay Tuned and Duke's Deal. Coming over the rise, Just a Printer the leader over Lady Bay. Super Shaquille on the outside, Perfect Harmony about to get a gap in the middle, and Juggler wide out is looming up to them. Here's the Prince, not getting a lot of room there. Past the 200, Juggler sprinted to the lead from Super Shaquille, followed by Just a Printer, and Stay Tuned is getting home well, but Juggler clear with 100 to go, holding them all at bay. This is the horse that sweated up very badly before the race. He trotted in over Super Shaquille. Stay Tuned has run third. Here's the Prince fourth, followed by Crows Before Dawn, then Glide Away, Chelsworth, Just a Printer. Further back, Run the Best, our Mr. Axman, Odessa, followed by Deep Snip, Lady Bay, Carla Chief, Duke's Deal, Marja High, and Perfect Harmony, after making a quick little dash in the straight, weakened again to finish at the tail of the field. Well, that's the last time I'll even tell you that a horse is sweating up before the race. He sweated buckets and buckets and bolted in. Juggler, Gay Waterhouse. There's no other system, just back Gay's horses. Number 15, Juggler, Jamie Innes, $11 and $3.40. $11.40 and $3.40. Second is number 2 second, Super Shaquille, a place dividend of $2.70. And 10 has run third, Stay Tuned, a place dividend of $10. Well, Ken, that horse sweated ferociously before the race, and it made no difference. It improved him.
Yeah, no difference at all, John. Often it doesn't make difference. I think in many cases it's an old wives' tale to stay off the horses who sweat. I've seen plenty of them come out and win, and as you see, about a 3.5 lengths victory there shows that there's didn't make much difference to Juggler at odds of better than 10 to 1. We see him there getting away from Super Shaquille. Of course, he had a big pull in the weights, and Juggler was just far too good. Stay Tuned, who's owned in similar interest to Juggler, ran a nice race to rattle on into third place. But Daylight was second. Juggler's won by 3 or 4 lengths in the Carbine Club Stakes from Super Shaquille, with number 10, Stay Tuned, in third place. Here's the head-on. There he is in centre screen with the white cap and the red and white sleeves, grey colours. And boy, oh boy, James Innes, well, he rode him a treat, but he certainly had the motor underneath him, because Juggler made a one-act affair of the race. Super Shaquille under his big weight, great run, but the official winning margin was 3 lengths, with a long head separating second and third as we go for a break and then come back for more on Derby Day 1995.